Booyah! Tippy time, my damies. Welcome to episode 33 of Reviewedly Interrupted with me, your host, Pootie Tang. 33, that's right. You know what 33 is? 33 is half of that scary, spooky number, 666. Remember that. All right. This episode, Klaus Kinski and Werner Herzog collabing on Nosferatu, Phantom der Nacht. This is absolutely my favorite version of Nosferatu. I know it's kind of like, what? And I'm not saying there's like a shit ton of versions of it. There's actually like some versions of the original one where there's like different music. There's this one Nosferatu, like what is it, 1922 or some shit like that, right? Isn't it something like that? And like Typo Negative did the soundtrack for it. I gotta get a copy of that because that would be so fucking awesome to watch that original silent film with like Typo Negative's music. Oh, fucking awesome. And like, even though that one's a classic, this one is my favorite because Klaus Kinski is fucking just insane. And he looks nuts in this, man. He looks fucking crazy with the big bald head and then he's got the fangs. He's like, yeah. And just being Klaus Kinski, like, if there could ever be like a creepier fellow in a movie, I dare you to try to find someone that can play a bigger, like, just odd, creepy, intense character than Klaus Kinski, who's just fucking awesome. And it's like, I got it in this set here. I showed it last time, but yeah, the Herzog Kinski set. Those are the movies that are in it. Aguirre, I guess you say that, Aguirre or something like that. The Wrath of God. Whoa, that is. Do I got to get way back here with it so you can even remotely read it? Yeah, Nosferatu, Wojciech, Fitzcarraldo, which is awesome. I don't remember Cobra Verde that well, so I'll have to watch that shit again. And then My Best Fiend, which is like a doc that like Herzog did about like his working with Klaus Kinski, because there was so much clash because Klaus Kinski is just a fucking batshit crazy dude, you know, and Herzog was like, you know, real like, this is my movie kind of director, you know, we're doing this. So they would clash because big egos in a way, and just like real just like stalwart, I don't want to budge from my ideals type shit. And it's pretty awesome. And I've actually watched Nosferatu like, you know, maybe like 6 to 8 times over the years. And I really like it. And it's just like, I always watch it with the German and the subtitles, just because it's like, I feel like I'm not like one of those snobby people that's like, oh, because, you know, it's more like upscale to watch it, you know, in the original language of the subtitles. No, I just like, when you have the overdubbed voices, it's almost like you kind of lose it a little bit. When it's just like, they got the subtitles up there and the movie is just in its language. Everything is that movie as it was done in that country. And then just like having the little subtitles just not in the way, not really like taking away a part of like the almost like originalness of the movie or something. You know, I don't know. It's just, it's got a different vibe for me and stuff. Well, it says it's in German with optional English subtitles anyway, so I don't even think this was in English or something. But anyway, like, yeah, and I don't know, the way this movie's done, like, Herzog did it's like brilliant. Just the tone, the vibe. It's like, we all really know, like, English / UK Gothic really well, you know, like we know what that look is. We know what French Gothic is. We know what like even some like Scandinavian Gothic is. But like Nosferatu, this movie is like straight up what German Gothic looks like. And German Gothic isn't like, oh, there's an air of like fucking, hey, yeah, behind it. No, German Gothic is probably the most depressing Gothic. It's just like, it's not even just like black and darkness or anything like that. It's just like, if you've ever laid down on like really, really cold sidewalk pavement, that is German Gothic. That's German Gothic. There's nothing happy about it. It's not dark even. It's like the movie's not really that dark. It's a pretty bright movie a lot of the time. But just the vibe and the look, it's just like, it's downer time. It's like, hey man, you know, like I just don't want to feel happy. Put on a German film that's like got a Gothic vibe, and especially this movie, and you will just be like, what's the point of living? You will become a nihilist. That'll be it. This movie is the gateway to nihilism. Okay, so be prepared. Like if you're not ready for that type of step in your life, then I say go watch the fucking Care Bears, you geek. No, I'm just joking. I love the Care Bears too. I'll watch the Care Bears. I'm that guy. I'll watch this and I'll turn around and be like, I want to chill with some Care Bear stairs. I want to see that shit. But yeah, so I'm gonna go watch this again, and the cinematography is beautiful. I'm just gonna sit there and just in awe of it again, you know. And it's gonna be actually fun to go through like these different movies and give reviews over time, and yeah, because they're just really great. Herzog is fucking brilliant, man. So yeah, I'm gonna go watch this again, and then I'll come back and I'll yap about all the stuff I love about this movie here. All right, Kappa Chow maybe? Should we Kappa Chow it? We can Kappa Chow it. I can tippy tie you again, or you know what? We'll just like Sarate. Nosferatu. Holy Mac Shrek's ballsack, Batman. Fucking Nosferatu. I swear to God, dude, I love this fucking version. It's like, like, I'm totally gonna be all over Herzog's nuts, like for this one, because it's just like this. His movies are great. Like, yeah, showed off the set. Like, dude, they're just fucking great. And like, what's awesome about Nosferatu is just like, dude, the way he does a lot of documentaries. Like, I can't remember if he did documentaries first and then made some movies and then went back to documentaries, or made movies and then went into documentaries, or was doing them both at the same time. I can't fucking remember, all right? But the way in which he films this is like a blend, I'm still here, a blend of cinematic and almost like documentary style, like filmmaking, and it makes it very artsy, very arty. Like just his wide shots, just his like, I don't know if they're panoramic, but just like his fucking wide shots of like fucking backgrounds, you know, like the mountains and the road when Jonathan's like, okay, I'll fucking walk to the goddamn castle, then nobody wants to give me a ride because everybody's scared. Just that shot where he's like, you just see him starting to walk down the road and head down the road, and just the giant, like you see the foreground mountains and then the background mountains, and just all of his like big wide shots, and then the slow motion bat in flight, that looks like very like National Geographic Channel fucking documentary about bats bullshit kind of deal. And it's just beautiful. And the music, you know, the music is just like, I don't know how to explain it. It never gets like really intense. It's always just very like, very subliminal in the background, just kind of like, it's just like this weird, where even when it sounds like it has a little warmth, it's just like, you're just waiting for the foreboding nature of just like the orchestration and shit. And this is just such a great movie. Fucking Klaus Kinski. I mean, the movie moves, it creeps. It creeps. It doesn't like run. It never like has these little moments of sprinting. No, it like creeps along, just like how Klaus Kinski's fucking Count Dracula. There's like the cool art poster type dealio that they put out in Germany or some shit. But like just the way his character, how he does his character, it's like it's almost like Max Schreck is like the one that everybody looks at as like the quintessential like Nosferatu, and like he was the guy. I think like now this is just my opinion. I think that Kinski's performance, like there wasn't a lot of dialogue. He didn't have a ton of dialogue. Just his movements and everything. Just like if this one was a silent film like that one, like the 1920 whatever motherfucker with Max Schreck, if this was silent, like it would be like, oh wow, Klaus Kinski like maybe like did a way better job. Of course, it's like, you know, the original one is very dated. It's very, very dated, even up to the point where like this one's even dated now, 1979. But this is just, I don't know. It's like beautiful, and it's like fucking, it's so well crafted, but not pretentious. I think this is not, like I said, this is my personal opinion. My personal opinion is that this is probably the greatest vampire movie ever made. That's my opinion. Because like just the whole feel of it, the look and everything, and like I said, how like the cinematography, lots of the cinematography and how everything is put together, and it doesn't feel mishmashed, you know, like how I was saying, like the documentary film style, how it kind of blends with the cinematic and everything. It doesn't feel like it's forced. It just, Herzog is so natural with the way he does his filmmaking, you know? And then you got Kinski, who is just like, oh my God, dude. The guy is so intense, even when he's not trying to be intense. And it's just like his movements and just his looks and the way, it's just like, it's weird. Like his character, like just, maybe it's like the emotion, the way his eyes emote is like, you feel like there's some kind of fragility in there somewhere where he's got some kind of fragile part, but it almost seems like one of those like sociopathic fronts where he tries to come across as like, oh, there's this weak part inside of me and everything. And like, I guess you could say like the weak part would be like his wanting Lucy. Yeah. In this one, it's Lucy Harker, not Mina Harker. And Mina is the friend. I don't know why the names are different from all the other ones, but it is what it is. But like, as far as like, okay, I'll say this. Maybe not the greatest vampire movie ever made, but the greatest Count Dracula adaptation ever made. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I love the Hammer ones. Fucking Christopher Lee as fucking Dracula. That's epic. That's awesome. The original Nosferatu, I fucking love it. It's great. It's just the way the look, the silent, and just like, it's just like, you could see how that would be terrifying to fucking people watching it back then. And what was I going to say? There was one that, what was the one? There was another one I was fucking thinking of. Oh, like Bram Stoker's Dracula. I mean, that one's like a fucking, I would go as far as to say that one's like a fucking rock and roll Dracula one. It's just like fucking, you know? But this one, I think what it is the vibe of it. You know? German Gothic is probably the most depressing of all the Gothics. And this is a German Gothic horror vampire movie. It's like, I just love, like, okay, another thing, like I said, I'm going to be all over Herzog's nuts. He's fucking amazing. He's fucking great. If you haven't seen any Herzog, fucking watch some Herzog, whether it's horror or not, man. Like, this set has some cool shit in it. Like, look, there's that one. And look, this is another one that is in there also. And look, hey, there's also another one. Okay. Like, his style is fucking awesome. Like I said, his wide shots. It's not. It's like every shot means something. When he comes in close, he wants you to see what's happening right there. And then when he goes to like his wide shots or even wider shots, like way back where it's like you see these big vistas and everything, it's like he wants you to see the majesty of like the background and the surroundings, like compared to this character, you know, just like how immense and everything and just his locations are fucking epic, man. It's like he finds the most beautiful fucking locations. I mean, you look at him and you're like, that's where the documentary shit comes in, like a very nature type documentary shit comes in, because his locations are just fucking gorgeous and the way he shoots them. And yeah, and I really love like just the storyline and the plot and everything, you know, the way it like carries through, and even the ending where it's like, oh, it looks like it's like fucking Lucy dies, Van Helsing gets arrested for fucking killing Count Dracula, you know, and Jonathan Harker becomes the new vampire. Ooh. You know, and it's like, it's kind of a cool little twist on the story and everything. Especially, it's like different from all the other versions you see, where it's just like, oh yes, Jonathan and Mina and fucking Van Helsing whoop Dracula's ass and everybody's happy. The end, you know. Oh, what's that, you asked? This is Mountain Dew Baja Passion Fruit Punch with a blast of natural and artificial passion fruit flavor. I wanted to try it. I don't know. Dew comes out with some like pretty different flavors. Sometimes they hit, sometimes they don't. This one ain't too bad. It's all right. But yeah, I just really love this movie. You know, like I said, it creeps along, but it's like, if you just like sit back and go along for the ride, it's like a very gentle but very menacing, but it never goes too far into it, we're trying to horrify and terrify you. But the subject matter is, especially when it's like, you know, Renfield's like, hey motherfuckers, my master is coming and he's bringing thousands and thousands of rats with him. And then sure enough, boat shows up, rats everywhere, bringing the plague. So I mean, I think it's just awesome how it's like Dracula isn't just bringing his vampiric plague, he also brings along with him just a plague to just devastate everything around him, almost like he wants to completely eradicate everything, and so he can just have his solitude in that region. Like, but it's like kind of weird, because if you're a vampire and you got to live off human blood, I don't know why you'd want them all to die and everything. And see, there's also another little cliffhanger that's on there, is that he sends Renfield north. He's like, head up north to, what was it, Riga. Go up there and the rats will follow you and they will bring the plague with you. So it's almost like if they're going to do a Renfield, why don't they do like a straight up, like how there was John Carpenter's The Thing, and then they did a prequel sequel later on, like like 30 years down the road or whatever, 30, 40 years down the road, the prequel sequel of The Thing. They could do it now. Fuck it. 1979, this movie comes out. All of a sudden, they do a different movie about Renfield, and it's like the continuation of this, of like what happened to that motherfucker afterwards. But like, yeah, and fucking, if I remember correctly, they didn't need a shit ton of prosthetics with Klaus Kinski, because his face is wild, man. He's just got a face that it looks villainous all the time, just the way his face is set up. But definitely teeth and the ears. And I'm pretty sure a bald cap too, but that was like pretty much it. And then they just fucking painted him, you know? And like, you know, other than the hands and stuff, I'm talking about the face and shit. But yeah, and you know, it's gonna be fun to do the rest of the movies in this awesome set here, because what is that? Aguirre? I think it's just Aguirre. Aguirre? I don't know. I'll have to look it up, man. I feel stupid for not knowing how to pronounce that. The Wrath of God is so awesome. I love that fucking movie. That opening shot is just fucking beautiful. And Fitzcarraldo is epic. God damn, that is a beautiful movie too. And Cobra Verde, I don't remember very well. Wojciech was fucking pretty good. I remember that one a little bit more, but like, yeah, Nosferatu. This thing is fucking epic, man. And really quick, I'm gonna talk about what I'm gonna be doing next episode 34. Is I got this little set here. Kung Fu Zombies, motherfuckers. Yes. 7 deadly films. Like, there's even a couple on here that have Gordon Liu. Yes. Shaolin versus Evil Dead and Shaolin versus Evil Dead 2. It's pretty cool. But what I'm going to do, the movie that I'm going to review next is We're Going to Eat You. Yes. I'm going to be doing a Kung Fu zombie movie next called We're Going to Eat You. I can't remember if I watched it because I skipped watching Spirited Killer 2 and 3 because it doesn't have 1 on here, and I'm like, I hate when sets do that. But I did see on Amazon you can get like the trilogy and everything together. I think the reason you couldn't get Spirited Killer 1 on here, like why they couldn't get it on here, is because what's his from Ong Bak, Tony Jaa was in the first one, so there's probably like some kind of like licensing or something that they couldn't get, you know. But so I skipped those 2 because I figure what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get the trilogy and I'm going to watch them all 3. But yes, We're Going to Eat You is the next one off of 7 killer movies, Kung Fu Zombies. That's next episode. Yeah, you know, I know some people will probably be like, yeah, you know, it's good. This Nosferatu, this is good, but I like the original more, or I like Bram Stoker's Dracula more, or I like John Carpenter's Vampires more, whatever, you know, and that's cool. I love all those movies. But like when it comes to like the vampire movies, other than Blackula and Blackula Scream, which are fucking awesome. I love those movies a lot. I will be doing those in the future. This one I just think is the most, it's the best crafted. It's beautiful. Everything about it is just like he sculpted, like he went and he painstakingly sculpted what would be like the perfect Dracula story, you know? And that's the way I look at it, because all the elements together is just beautiful. It's arty, and just how everything comes together in this. It comes together so great. And especially with like a leading man like Kinski, like you gotta have, if you're gonna have a Count Dracula, you gotta have a strong Count Dracula. Max Schreck doing all of his own makeup and everything, and the way he really portrayed that, bringing it to the screen for the first time like that. Although I think there was like a movie, Vampire, another silent film. I gotta look into that more. I don't have that one yet. I saw it and I was like, oh, well, that sounds like something I need to have. But I ain't got it yet. So we're gonna leave that out of the conversation for now. But you know, and like Gary Oldman is Dracula and everything else. Like I said, Christopher Lee, Frank Langella, all these motherfuckers that have played Dracula, you know, all very strong actors that needed to make that character, you know, whether he was like seductive and romantic or brutal, you know, and just evil and scary, you know. Kinski really, like when he's on screen, it's like you can't look away. Even if he's just like standing there on the screen and he's just doing his things with his hands, you know, he's just like, and he's just like looking. It's like you just look at him, you're like waiting for him. He looks all the time like he's just going to pounce, like he's just like a coiled spring. But like it looks calm, but just like there's this nervous tension, energy just like rippling under the surface the whole time, and it's like. He did so great in this because in so many characters. Like if you know Kinski, his films more, you know that he does play a lot of intense characters. He's very good at playing that really intense, in your face, just aggro character. He's very, very good at it. But then in this movie, it's almost taking him out of his usual element and just taking all that tenseness, all that just energy and everything, and just like pushing it down and setting it under the surface where it's just like rippling. And oh man, it's fucking great. You know, this is just all the elements put together in a package that I'm just like, fuck yeah. And I love this movie. So yeah. Oh man, I guess I've signed your pity on the running cut. This doesn't really have any special features. I would talk about special features, but it's only got audio commentary, which would actually be pretty cool. I should watch it with the director, with the audio commentary, to hear Werner Herzog talk about the shit. I've seen the making of the 13-minute behind the scenes featurette, and I watched the trailers. There's a US and Spanish trailer. There's talent bios, and then, yeah, you know, I've watched it. It doesn't have much, but I did put a link for a Blu-ray copy. I'm not sure what kind of special features it's got. There's like a German import, which I would like to get, and then there's like another different Blu-ray one. But I also put a link if you would like to pick up this Herzog Kinski set. But there's also other sets, like if you just look Werner Herzog, they're like Blu-ray and DVD collections of like multiple movies of his, and Nosferatu is found in there. I've added the Werner Herzog collection Volume 1 and Volume 2 into my wish list, because down the road I will be picking up those Blu-ray ones. It would be very nice, you know, because it's like 10, 13 movies, all kinds of shit in there or something. But yeah, I've got the links in there for all that shit, and yeah. So I think I've signed your pity on the running kind pretty well for Nosferatu Phantom der Nacht. The vampire. And yeah, so Kappa Chow, bitches. I'll see you next time. You know, this has been a fun one. I love this movie. This was a good one. So this has been episode 33 of Reviewedly Interrupted with me, your host, Pootie Tang, and the film Nosferatu Phantom der Nacht, directed by Werner Herzog, starring Klaus Kinski and Isabel Adjani. And I will adjourn. After Adjani, I will adjourn. Oh, adjourn Adjani, oh long Johnny.